Welcome to the Advisor Source Weekly News Headlines. I'm Matt Fahr. At a special workshop meeting held on August 11th at the Romeo School District Administration Building, the Romeo School Board discussed an array of options for facilities in the school district, both long and short term. The board met to discuss scenarios that would include bond-funded plans and plans that would be accomplished without asking voters to approve a bond. The building that drew all the attention and was the linchpin for the majority of the scenarios was the Romeo Middle School on Prospect Street. The 90-year-old building has been an operational drain on the district and has not yet received any major renovations. The board's focus was twofold: how to save money in the short term through facility restructuring and how to shape the district in the future. All non-bond scenarios include the doors of the middle school being closed and shifting students to other buildings in the district. The scenario that drew the initial endorsement of Superintendent Dr. Nancy Campbell was a complete shift of staff, students, and teachers to Croswell Elementary. Upgrades would need to be made to the building, child care facilities would need to be shifted, and logistical issues would need to be worked out. But that was an idea that seemed to fit without needing bond money to fund the move. The upgrades to Croswell would be paid for through sinking fund dollars used for repairs and equipment within the district. Scenarios discussed by the board that would need voter approval for a bond included $15 million to upgrade the existing middle school, $30 million to tear it down and build a new building on the same site, and an estimated $100 million plus bond to cover costs and repairs and renovations on all the buildings in the school district. Romeo Middle School will remain open for the upcoming 2014-15 school year, and the board is hoping to get a survey out to local residents next year to gauge their interest in what direction they want the school to proceed in. The board made no final decision during the meeting. Before work begins on figuring out what to do about other buildings in the Romeo School District, voters will be deciding on what to do about Barnabo Field. The home of the Romeo Bulldogs football team is in need of renovations, and the voters will get a chance to decide if they want to foot the bill. The Athletics Bond on the November 4th general election ballot has the strong selling point of being what the district calls a no-increase bond. If approved, the $7 million bond would replace other debt payments that are expiring rather than add new payments to the list of district bills. The resulting shifts in the debt would result in no tax increase to district residents. The list of changes that would be made to Barnabo include the installation of a stadium synthetic turf, an 8-lane polyurethane track, a new concessions area, additional storage and restrooms, as well as a team room facility housing first aid area and visitor team rooms, as well as a referee room. Bleacher seating will be slightly expanded from the 2,250 on the home team side to 2,700, and from 500 to 800 on the visitor side. There will also be new ticket booths, a new scoreboard, an expanded press box, new lighting, and other site furnishings. $175,000 of the bond will also go towards bleacher replacement at the Romeo High School gym. The district is scheduled to host over 70 events this year at the facility that was opened back in 1972. The Romeo Village Council continues to move forward in their investigation into the possible reshuffling of village government. At their July 21st meeting, the board approved a measure to have Village Attorney Mark Clark draft language for a proposed change from the current village governmental setup to one that would allow for the installation of a village manager. The retirements of Clerk Mary McLaughlin and Treasurer Melinda Russell at the end of the year sparked a debate about the responsibilities and tasks assigned to each one. With decades of institutional knowledge between the two women, the board voted to have an evaluation done and get an overview of the village hierarchy and how it is operating. With the roles of clerk and administrator gradually falling under McLaughlin's purview over her 28 years in office, the board was left with the decision of allowing the new clerk, who will be elected in November, to continue doing both of those jobs, or if they will be split out and delegated to separate positions. Clark is expected to bring the ordinance language to the August meeting, and if the board approves a proposal, the issue will go on a ballot if 10% of registered voters sign a petition. Those signatures must be gathered within 45 days in order for the referendum to then be put on a future ballot. Based on the window that could be in place, the proposal would not be able to go on the November general election ballot, and a special election would have to be held. Here's Mark Clark explaining the process of what it would take to have a manager position created in the village.
If you look at the village manager portion of the statute, that is an assignment of authority and an assignment of responsibility. That if there's a village manager, the council can choose by ordinance to create the position and assign the responsibilities. Manager, you're going to do these things that the clerk would otherwise do. Manager, you're going to do these things that the treasurer would otherwise do. manager, you're going to do these things that the president would otherwise do. That's not what's going on now, and if you're going to do that, which you can, then you need to follow the statute and adopt the ordinance, allow for the referendum, and create the manager position.
President Mike Lee and trustees Ron Russell and Skip Tornow voted against the proposal. Clark said he would return with clarification on whether approval of that language would take a supermajority or 5 votes of the board to move forward. Rumors over closing the doors of the 42-1 District Court in Romeo can now be put to rest. According to District Court Judge Dennis LeDuc, a report compiled by the State Court Administrative Office recommended that the building remain open rather than merging with another Macomb County District Court. Representatives from the court office visited the court back in April, and they delivered their report to LeDuc on July 10th. The judge said that specifics from the internal court document could not be released, but that the possibility of merging with the 42-2 court in New Baltimore was considered not feasible at this time. Speculation and budget issues have raised the question several times over the past few years that the building on 33 Mile Road would be mothballed or converted, and LeDuc, along with Magistrate Richard McLean and their staff, would be forced to relocate. LeDuc did say that several factors were involved in the overall recommendation. The fact that the Romeo building had been paid for, its proximity to serving residents in the area, and the issues of parking for 2 courthouses at the New Baltimore site were some of the factors LeDuc noted. He also cited the substantial cost of remodeling the New Baltimore building to accommodate 2 separate courts. The 42-1 court serves the communities of Armada, Bruce, Ray, Romeo, Memphis, Richmond, and Washington. One other facet in the report that was an asset for the Romeo location were the drug and alcohol testing facilities. They are the only facilities north of Clinton Township and also house probation personnel for both the Romeo and New Baltimore courts. LeDuc did not say how long the recommendation was good for, but that he is now confident that he and his staff will be in Romeo for years to come. This has been the Advisor Source Weekly Headlines for this week. I'm Matt Fahr.